please.
Okay. All right.
Right?
All right.
This is the third case of people sitting before asking the question. Please sit down.
Assalamualaikum Hazur. My name is Khurram Nazir. I'm from North York Jamaat.
Right.
I would like to present two questions to you.
Okay, please do.
My first question is regarding tawakkul.
Regarding?
Tawakkul.
Tawakkul, right?
I thought I understood the issue relatively well until I came across two incidents in Islamic history that to my untrained eye could be a contradiction of each other. The first one, of course, is Hadhrat Abu Huraira, when he was really hungry beyond unbearably hungry, he used hikmat in asking other Sahaba the meanings of verses of the Holy Quran, hoping they would share some of their food with him.
That verse, which ultimately resolved his problem, which he referred to, does not mention tawakkul at all.
Well, no, just the issue about being hungry.
Okay.
Let me complete my question.
Yes.
That was the companion of Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another companion of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, Hazrat Hakim Maulvi Nuruddin, Khalifatul Masih Awwal radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, when he was under similar situations where he was really, really hungry in a mosque in Lahore, I believe, he did not use any hikmat in asking anybody or hinting to anybody about his hunger. So much so that he almost refused the invitation of the man who eventually invited him for supper. I would think, to my untrained eye, that the two companions, took a different approach to tawakkul.
Yes, I understand the question, but where is the issue of tawakkul involved in this?
I would like to think that it is the part where, when you get hungry, you expect Allah to take care of your needs.
No, this is not the principle involved at all. When you get hungry, you should search for food.
Right.
And when you fail to search for food, fail to achieve the object of your search, and you are left with no hope whatsoever, then you have tawakkul. That's a different story altogether.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So let's come to the case of Hadhrat Abu Huraira first. He had made a vow never to leave the mosque because he had accepted Islam rather late in his life. And he had missed the most of the opportunity which was shared by other Sahaba to remain close to Muhammad Rasulullah and listen to his advice and his admonitions, etc., his words of his wisdom. So he was jealous in the right way, that they have learned so much, so to make up for the loss, I would never leave the mosque for any personal requirements except the call of nature, etc., etc. So he sat there. And because people knew that this man was sitting there with idle, not idle in the real sense, but without any job, without means of livelihood, so they generally brought some food and offered him, and it went on and on, until Allah decided to teach him a lesson. And it was that moment when for 2-3 days nobody thought of giving him anything. And almost died of hunger. Allah gave him many lessons, in fact, in that. Number one, then when God has not guaranteed you that He would provide food from anywhere He chooses, then for you to remain shut in the mosque, closing doors of livelihood upon yourself, it has no license from Allah. Allah has been kind to you, gracious to you, by fulfilling the requirements, but that doesn't mean that Allah is bound to produce food for you. That was one lesson delivered to him. And the second lesson delivered to him was that the verses of the Holy Quran are best understood by Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. None else can understand the verses as well as Muhammad Rasulullah could. And there are other lessons within the scope of that verse itself. So Hazrat Abu Hurairah Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu thought of a device. No, he was shy of begging. But there are some people who can't do anything but beg. So he devised a plan of begging whereby he could retain his honor and yet beg. So that plan was to use a verse of the Holy Quran and inquire about its true interpretation. And that verse, as I remember, if I remember correctly, was وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. That believers are such people that they prefer others' cause and need to their cause, the other requirements and need, to their own requirements and needs. وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. Even if they suffer from paucity of means, shortage of means, even when they're poor, they don't have much, yet they sacrifice for the sake of others. This is one verse which is quoted by some. Another verse which is quoted in relation to the same incident is وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا. The believers are such as feed the people. يُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ. Ala hubbihi has two meanings. Ala hubbihi refers to God. That only for the sake of Allah, for the love of Allah, yutimuna ta'ama, they feed the others with food. Whom do they feed? Yutimuna ta'ama ala hubbihi miskeenam wa yatimam wa asira. Miskin, a person who does not beg, but who is poorly, and everybody should judge him by the state in which he is found. For yatiman, the orphan. Asira, who is a prisoner. So, if that is the verse which he used, then the meaning was more obvious. Because he was a prisoner, his own prisoner, of his own choice, for the sake of a high noble cause. He wouldn't leave the mosque, so it was a sort of prisoner. And miskin he wouldn't beg, and he was poor. So he thought, if I ask some elderly Sahaba the meaning of this verse, they would understand that I am in need. So when he said, inquired from one Sahabi, now some reporters are fond of mentioning Hazrat Abu Bakr first, then Hazrat Umar, then Hazrat Usman, as if at that time the order of the Khilafah was already settled. So I don't go to that detail, in my belief in these traditions, but the central substance is correct. The order may be different. But this is reported definitely that he inquired from some Sahaba, one after the other, as they entered and left the mosque. Would you kindly tell me the true meaning of this verse? And they started giving lecture on the meaning of the verse and making commentary. And when they had finished and left, Abu Hurairah said, look at them. They think I don't know the meaning. And then the incident was repeated one after the other, until he lost hope. Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was listening because his house was adjacent to the mosque. In the end, he came out, beckoned Abu Hurairah to himself. Abu Hurairah, what is the meaning of this verse? I'll tell you. Go out and announce at the top of your voice that whoever is hungry, he should come. And also told him that I have received a bowl of milk from somewhere, but I will not feed you with that until I have others who are also hungry. Now, the heart of Abu Huraira almost sank with that.